Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.
Welcome to Beyond the Badge, a program about the inner workings of the Edina Police and Fire Departments. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sergeant Brian Hubbard. We all do many things to prepare for winter, but have you checked to make sure your home's carbon monoxide detectors are working? With many people using their gas heaters, now is the time to take preventative action against what's known as an invisible killer. This time of year, it's especially important to remind yourself where your home's carbon monoxide detectors are and check the back of each one to see if the detector is more than 5 to 7 years old.
Carbon monoxide alarms have an expiration date. Just like any other piece of equipment, they can go bad. In order to find out what the expiration date is on it, you look on the back of the carbon monoxide detector and there's a manufacture date. Then you add 5 to 7 years. If you look for it, you don't see a sticker, that means that it's a really, really old carbon monoxide detector and that you should probably replace it.
Carbon monoxide is often known as the invisible killer gas because of its odorless, colorless appearance. According to the National Fire Protection Agency, U.S. fire departments have seen an increase of more than 39,000 cases involving carbon monoxide leaks. Several years ago, the Minnesota Health Department reported 14 deaths due to carbon monoxide poisoning.
The way that carbon monoxide works is it actually binds with the hemoglobin in your blood, and therefore it creates an oxygen starving, if you will, at a cellular level in your body. And sometimes people don't even realize that they're being poisoned by carbon monoxide, and that's why it's important to have the detectors and alarms.
If you're unable to check the batteries of your home's carbon monoxide detectors, you can call the Edina Fire Department and they will come and help you inspect and change the batteries. Winter weather is here, and that means more people are out skating and fishing on local lakes. It also means there's a possibility of thin ice, especially at the beginning and end of the winter season. To prepare for an ice rescue, the Edina Fire Department has various tools at its disposal, including a Mustang flotation suit. Let's go to Fire Station Number 1, where Sergeant Aaron White is speaking with Fire Lieutenant Sean White to discuss what equipment firefighters use during an ice water rescue and how to stay safe on the ice.
Thank you, Brian. I'm at Edina Fire Station Number 1 today to learn a little bit about ice safety and ice rescue. And to do that, I am joined today by Fire Lieutenant Sean White. Sean, thanks for being on the show again.
Thank you very much for having me here.
You're kind of a veteran at this point.
I'm working on it.
A wealth of knowledge, as they say.
Absolutely.
All right. We want to learn a little bit about ice safety first. Sure. It's been kind of a mild year so far. Absolutely. And ice conditions, I can tell, are pretty bad. In other words, open water pretty much everywhere. But talk a little bit about the basic ice safety facts here.
Sure. I think this year creates even more of a problem than it normally would. When you have this constant fluctuation of raising temperatures and lowering temperatures, the ice doesn't have the ability to freeze strongly. So even once it starts to create a layer, it's not going to be as stable as it normally is. Right. So with that open water, people get anxious. You start to want to get out on the ice even earlier than you normally would. But people need to be very cognizant of how thick that ice is, because there's a direct correlation to how safe, quote unquote, no ice is ever safe ice, right, which is an important thing to remember. But the thicker it is, the more weight it can hold.
So we have to have good ice. We need to know what we're doing if we're going out there. I like what you said, and ice is really never safe.
That's true.
But if things go wrong, that's where you guys step in. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
But tell us a little bit, how do you respond to an ice rescue situation?
I would say it's very similar to all the rescues that we approach, and really it's about sizing up the situation and gathering information. So people who are on scene or may have noticed something are a very valuable resource to us, and we can come back to that later and some of the things that they can do. But really we approach it as a cascade effect of rescue, and so we'll have different techniques depending on the situation and what it is that is required of us to gain access to the patient. So we have a lot of different equipment that we use depending on the situation. And we've been fortunate enough to have very, very good equipment to be able to respond to those situations.
Well, you hit on equipment, and we've been kind of standing in a sea of it here.
You have.
Show us some of what we have here.
Sure. So probably the basic thing, and it's something even that our officers carry within the city, which is a great resource, is a throw bag. You can reach down and grab that for us. We can show everybody. And this is just a big rope bag. So one of the biggest things we want to do is try and reach the person. If we don't have to go into the water to go get them, that's the safest for everyone.
Sure.
So we're going to try and throw a rope to them, and that's something that I know the officers will carry these as well, so that first on scene, getting to these people is of paramount importance.
Yep.
So.
Okay. We have, let me reach for more stuff here. This looks kind of fun. I just want to hold this for a while.
Absolutely. That's
like
our
staff.
big reaching stick with a nice little loop on the end. And that's something, if we're close enough, that we can reach out and gives a stable platform for somebody to grab onto if they still have the ability.
Again, keeps you out of the water.
Absolutely.
If all else fails, you get your rope and whatnot.
We
but,
do.
What's in the bag here? Tell
And
me a
this
little bit about
is
that.
our Mustang suit. This is our ice rescue survival suit, would be the easiest way to think about it. Anybody watch Deadliest Catch, they have a suit similar to this, but this one's specifically made for rescue.
Sure.
A little more slimmed down, but still has a lot of the same abilities within it. Flotation, as well as keeps us warm, relatively speaking. It's still very cold water, but it's in an easily deployable bag where we're able to pull it out and then quickly get into the suit and get into the water as necessary.
And that's really key. You can't be messing around with equipment for 20 minutes. You need to be able to
Absolutely.
jump right into this. And,
Yes.
and that was a good test. That came out very nicely.
It came out
Somebody did a
exactly
good
how I
job
planned. Yes.
backing that up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, very good. You guys have a lot of specialized equipment and training and cool big red trucks to do this. But if I'm out there and my friend goes through the ice to close today, what can I do? Is there some safe ways that I might be able to help that
Absolutely.
person before you get there?
I would say the number one thing to remember is that we don't want to create more victims in the situation. We don't want you to, somebody else to go out there and attempt the rescue.
Sure.
And I know that would be a very hard thing to do, is to stand by. But there are other techniques that we can do. So number one, don't go out onto the ice, because we've already proven that it's not safe. Reaching. So just like the big stick that you were, so wonderfully showing off, branches, anything you have around. If you happen to have a rope, a hose, something like that you can get out to the person. I think those are really quick, fast techniques.
Really, the key is if you don't have one of these suits and the training to go along with it, we want to do whatever we do from shore.
Sure, stay safe from solid land. And then another big aspect is making sure that you pay attention to what happened, which direction they were traveling, and where that person went through the ice.
Absolutely.
And that can be very valuable information for us when we arrive.
And call 911 right away.
Very quickly.
Well, thank you, Sean. We appreciate the info today about ice rescue and ice safety.
Thanks for having me, Aaron.
That's Lieutenant Sean White with the Edina Fire Department. And we'll return to you, Brian.
Thank you, Aaron. When a crime is committed and police don't have any leads, the Edina Police Department works with the Edina Crime Prevention Fund to offer a monetary reward for residents' help. The recent theft of the prominent Edina Promenade sculpture, Three Trees, is one such example. Although the statue was returned, police are still offering a $1,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for the theft. If someone believes they have helpful information, they should call the Edina Police Department at 952-826-1600.
And if it sounds like a good lead, they're going to call that person back, probably get some more information. And if the information they're providing the detective leads the detective to have enough probable cause to make an arrest and then criminally charge and get a conviction in court, that is when the crime fund will release the reward money.
To see other rewards currently being offered, visit the city's website at www.edinamn.gov/police. On behalf of my co-host, Sergeant Aaron White, and the City of Edina's Public Safety Team, thanks for tuning in to learn a little bit more of what goes on beyond the badge. Until next time, stay safe.